Hello, welcome back to Breakdowns and Bows with your host ASOS. As always, I'm your host ASOS. This is just a safe space to talk about music, to talk about the metalcore scene, metal scene, alternative scene, pop punk. I honestly love all of it. I will always say my favorite band at the current moment is The Plot in You. That is like my number one band right now. I've seen them twice. But, anyways, that's just a little bit about me, about what this is. I want to talk about today the predictions for festival season 2026. So, as we all know, Sick New World just teased that, and I feel like they teased, but I feel like we know for a fact what's going to happen with Sick New World next year. So as everybody knows, this year, excuse me, I'm already thinking about 2026. This year in 2025, unfortunately, Sick New World had to cancel. And it's always in Las Vegas. And I've never been to Sick New World. I've been wanting to go because the lineup has always just been really, really cool. And it's not been something that I've been able to do. And, thinking about festival season next year, I really do want to go to a festival next year, besides when we were young, because that's been the one that I go to. I've been to Warp Tour, of course. But I think the top festivals that I would really like to go to in 2026 would definitely be Sick New World, and I would love to go to Rockville, or I would also like to go to Aftershock, which is in Sacramento. Those are like the three that I'm eyeing the most. Let me know in the comments which one you guys are like dying to go to. But anyways, I feel like Sick New World, like I said, I think that they're telling us what they're gonna do, but I still have some predictions for it. So what has been announced right now for Sick New World is that there's going to be two festivals for Sick New World, which I think is a really good strategy, again, because of what happened this year with the cancellation. And I do feel like they need to rebrand themselves and they need to come back next year really strong, because I know that a lot of people were upset over them canceling and them unfortunately pulling the plug on the show that happened last year. So as of right now, it is predicted that there will be, and it is announced that there will be two separate festivals. The same one in Las Vegas that always happens in April. That one is going to be happening. And then there is a Texas one. I'm really excited about them saying that they're going to do a Sick New World here in Texas. It is going to be in Fort Worth. I have signed up already for news alerts because I'm like, oh my God, you're coming to Texas. Like, that is going to be really cool. Even though, I'll be very honest with you, I go to the DFW area, constantly. And if I was to be very, upfront, I still would want to go. Anyways, I still would want to go to Vegas because I've been to the DFW area a lot, and I feel like there's nothing like Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, Texas is cool, I'm not saying anything's wrong with Texas, but I'm not going to sit here and be like Vegas ain't, a good place to go for a festival. Like, Rockville to me is appealing because of the fact that it's in the Daytona Speedway. That's why I want to go so bad, because it's like a long weekend full of bands. I'm like, the lineup for Rockville has always been so stacked, man. Like, every time I look every year at Rockville, I'm always like, I just wish that I would bite the bullet and I would go, and I would do the 4 days of just back to back to back. Even though I know I probably wouldn't survive because I barely survived when we were young, and Warp Tour as well. I think both of those festivals, I have gotten myself a heat stroke. And I went to Warp Tour when I was 13, back in 2011, I believe that's when I went to Warp Tour. And yeah, I got a heat stroke when we were young. I got a heat stroke and I didn't eat enough. And I was sick, and I was like sitting on the floor watching Secret with Giants. Like, this is fun. So, as much as I'm like, that's appealing to me, I am like, I know I can't handle it. I know I can't. But yeah, so Sick New World is gonna be doing two different dates. The one for Fort Worth here in Texas is going to be in October, which again, I'm very much going to be wondering how are they going to compete though? Because my prediction, why I'm saying that, like, yes, okay, it's confirmed. We know what's happening. I'm still thinking in my head, okay, well, you know, they still like are the lineups going to be the same? Is what they are offering for both festivals going to be either equivalent, the same, or is one going to be better than the other one? Are they going to be competing with each other for which one people want to go to? Or is it going to be more of a like, oh, this is sick because it's the same lineup, same thing. It's just in two different locations, two different times of the year because it's predicted that System of a Down will be doing both. If System of a Down is doing both, if they're doing Vegas and if they're doing Fort Worth, then yes, I will be more inclined to stay in Texas and just do the Texas thing, not do the Vegas thing. If System of a Down is going to be doing both, but it has to be consistent because again, if it's not consistent, then you are going if it's not consistent, then you're going to run into where they're not going to sell tickets. Because to me, again, like my boyfriend was saying, like, oh, what if it's in Austin? I was like, no, like, I'm sorry, Bubby, but it's going to be in Fort Worth. And he was like, well, if it's in Austin, I was like, dude, if it was going to be in Austin, like, I agree with you. It'd be cool. And he's like, yeah, like, they do so many festivals in Austin. I don't know why they picked Fort Worth. I am very curious about that, but it's very very interesting that they chose Fort Worth, and I'm wondering where in Fort Worth it is that they're planning to do this, and how it's gonna look. I do, like I said, wish it was in Austin just because Austin does a lot of festivals. Austin to me is somewhere I've never been. I live in Texas and I can't believe I'm saying that. Like I've never been to Austin, but I've never been to Austin and I would really be like, wow, like that's a good trip to make. Fort Worth to me is just like, man, I've been to Fort Worth so many times. There's nothing wrong with Fort Worth, but it's just like I live in El Paso, Texas, and there's like no good concerts here. There's nothing here. It's the desert and it's literally the desert. Like nothing happens here, okay? Like when Pierce the Veil came, it was exciting. Dayseeker came, but I couldn't go to Dayseeker because I had bought tickets to it in Dallas to go see Bring Me the Horizon, The Plot, and You Emotionless, which was like a sick concert. But I'm still devastated I never got to see Dayseeker because they were coming to El Paso. But yeah, I'm always in the DFW area because that's where concerts are. I mean, I could go to San Antonio, but I'm always going to San Antonio. And I try to switch it up, when I go to concerts because it's like, again, nobody comes here to El Paso. So it's either I go to Albuquerque, I go to Arizona, I go to San Antonio, I go to Dallas. I've even been to Denver because I was so bored of doing like all of those that I was like, I'm going to go to Denver. And honestly, I did not regret going to Denver at all. I thought it was a really nice venue. I thought it was a really great crowd, a really great experience. I will never forget seeing Bad Omens, Spirit Box, and Under Oath there in Denver, Colorado. It was a whole vibe. But yeah, so that's Signa World. I'm very, very, very curious to see how the Fort Worth. I'm going to repeat myself one more time. I'm curious. This is my predictions. I want to see the lineup be the same. I want them to be consistent. I want to know where they're going to do it. And I do want to see the prediction of System of a Down doing both. So going into the other festivals, as we all know, My Chemical Romance is actually going to be headlining 3 festivals next year. 3. And I do want to know what's going to happen with festivals next year because I feel like I missed out on this season 2025 festivals because I feel like 2025 festivals were sick, man. Like I see them on TikTok and I see them all over social media and I'm like, damn, like I missed that. Like those looked sick, those look amazing. So I'm very very curious to see how 2026 lives up to what 2025 was because 2025 was honestly a really really good year for festivals, and I think that that's why for 2026 all these festivals are trying to amp themselves up and they're trying to go to what's the next level of what they can do, you know what I mean? So again, My Chemical Romance is going to be doing all three, Welcome to Rockville, Sonic Temple, and Louder Than Life. They're going to be headlining all three. Now, Welcome to Rockville has already kind of announced their lineup. I do want to see a little bit more bands on this lineup. So as of right now, the headliners for Welcome to Rockville thus far is going to be My Chemical Romance, as I said previously, Bring Me the Horizon, All That Remains, Amira, Colorblind, which I'm really excited to see Colorblind. I do want to see Colorblind on a lot more festival dates next year because I'm really also into Colorblind right now, and I really do like them. My boyfriend said that he saw them before, like, I feel like anybody really knew them because I've never heard of them until he told me about them. So I do want to see more for them. Dismembered Tyrant, Ice Nine Kills, Il Nino, Lana Shore, which I want to see Lana Shore in more lineups as well. Make Them Suffer, Non Point, Pale Switch, The Plot and You. I want Plot and You to have a better lineup. I still feel like The Plot and You is not getting what they deserve. I feel like they deserve to be co-headliners. They deserve to be on main stage, and that's me personally. I don't care if you want to, disagree with me. You can disagree with me all day long. You have your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. But for me, my opinion is I want to see The Plot and You be on the main stage. They deserve it. The level that The Plot and You has gotten themselves to, I feel like they deserve it. They have been getting more and more and more notoriety that they deserve, and I do feel like it's time. I think it's I think it's time. I think it's their moment. I think 2026 needs to be their moment where they get off those side stages and they move them to the main stage. I'm hoping for that. I don't know, but I want plotting on more lineups. I want to see a better stage for them, a better set time for them, and everything. Even though I know I've heard a lot of like arguments about like where the good set time is and everything, I just want to see more for them. I feel like they deserve it. I'm gonna argue for the Platinum. Premier 55, Saliva, Seven Dust, Signs of Swarms, Spine Shank, Whitechapel, and Wolves at the Gate. There are still 100 plus artists still remaining to be announced. Louder Than Life hasn't really announced anything other than again who's going to be their headliner. Sonic Temple has released their 2026 lineup. So this is for Sonic Temple. For Sonic Temple, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same two headliners, which is My Chemical Romance and Bring Me the Horizon. Amir is going to be there. Conquer Divine, Motionless in White. I feel like Motionless in White is like a no-brainer when it comes to festival season. They were on Warped Tour for years, and now they still do all these festivals. I mean, they're just incredible. Amon, Cradle of Filth. I do not know how to say this band's name. Degrublin, Atreyu, Dance Gavin Dance, Pale Switch, Attila, Deathlong, The Plot in You, which again, I love The Plot in You and wanting to see more for them. Bethemoth, Devil Drive, POD, which I think is always so funny whenever I see POD on lineups. I saw them here in El Paso. So let me tell you, let me hold on, let me pause on this. Let me tell you the side story, okay? So I saw POD here in El Paso. It was so hilarious. I don't know how they did this, but they got POD to do the halftime of the Sun Bowl. So the Sun Bowl, for people who don't live here in El Paso, is when we get a football game in December. So you know how they have like the Rose Bowl and all that for college football. So we have the Sun Bowl here, and we usually get like different college teams to come here, and El Paso makes it a big deal. And they got them to play for halftime. It was hilarious because I feel like nobody understood them. And they were like on a tiny little stage. I don't know how they did it, okay? I don't know how they convinced them to come, but they came and I saw them. And it was a good show. It was a good they put on a good show. Like, I'm not going to say that they didn't put on a good show. They put on a good show, but it was just funny that they were playing halftime for a college, like, for a college game. They were playing halftime at a college game in El Paso, Texas. So random. Black Label Society, Dismembered Tyrant, Saliva, Bloody Wood, Dying Fetus, Census Fail, Body Count, featuring Ice Nine. Well, Ice Cube. I'm sorry. Is it Ice Cube? You should see the way that this is written. I'm trying my best here. Electric Cowboy, Spectral, Brand of Sacrifice, Hawthorne Heights, Seven Dust, Cattle Decapitation. Cattle Decapitation is a freaking name, man. And next, cattle decapitation. That is so metal. That is like death metal right there. Uh, In Flames, Soil, Chelsea Grin, Stone Temple Pilots, Suffocation, We Came as Romans. I'm really excited about We Came as Romans. I feel like they're just a band to always watch. I mean, they have gone through so many different eras. Make Them Suffer, Lana Shore, Chiodos, and Coheed and Cambria. So that is the lineup thus far. What I do want to talk about with Sonic Temple, not just their lineup, because they've announced their lineup for 2026 thus far. I think I want to announce like their past updates. I do not understand it. I saw them post about this. Maybe somebody can like dumb it down for me, because like I sometimes need things dumbed down, and I'm sorry about that. But I don't understand the past updates. So they put on their social media, price levels are about to flip for GA Field, GA Plus, Rock Royalty, and Columbus Owners Club. Luxury passes today starting at only $1 down, and see 140 plus more bands at Ohio's largest music festival. And they said level 4, GA Field, level 6, GA Plus Field and Stadium. So what does that mean? Like you get to sit at the stadium and then the field? I don't understand. And then they had RR Field and Stage. What is RR? And then CO, which is the field and the stadium. And I'm like, and it's level 4, level 6, level 1, level 2. And I was like, what does this mean? Like, can somebody speak like English to me or something like that? I don't understand, you know? I do want to see them bring Bad Omens, because you know what I haven't seen yet is I haven't seen Bad Omens, Spirit Box being announced on these lineups yet, and I'm like, I kind of want them on the lineups. My prediction is I want Spirit Box, I want Bad Omens, I want Knocked Loose, and I do want Flyleaf back on a lot of these lineups. So those are the bands that I'm gonna be kind of like waiting for. There's other bands that I want to see too. Of course, I want to see Poppy on more festival lineups. Obviously, we all love Poppy. I saw Poppy here in El Paso, by the way, and it was crazy. I could not believe they got Poppy out here either. Okay, like she literally was co-headlining with Scott Stapp from Creed, who's no longer part of Creed, and it was crazy. I do want to see Against the Current make a comeback. I feel like they're kind of whispering about an album, so I am hoping that they do get to release an album next year, and then they get to go on more festival dates. I do also want to see Dayseeker, because they're going to release their album soon, which we'll talk about their album once it comes out next week. And I do want to see The Devil Wears Prada, because I've been really liking their album Catch Your Breath. I've been wanting to see on festival lineups. I want to see Thornhill on festival lineups. So this is a kind of like not really known band, but I think that they should get on more festivals. I saw them on some festivals this year, which was Dreamwake. They got onto, I forgot which festival it was. I don't know if it was Aftershock or if it was Louder Than Life, but they were on one of the festivals, and their set was pretty sick, and I think people were like pretty blown away with them. I think I want to see a moment for them. But We Came as Romans just put out an album. The Devil Wears Prada just released an album. Thornhill just released music, so that's why I'm advocating for them. And especially with Dayseeker, Bad Omens is going to be releasing music as well. So I'm wanting to see the people that are putting out music. I do want to see Sleep Theory. I think that Sleep Theory has been proving themselves a lot, that they are not just I feel like people don't understand how they blew up the way that they did, but I feel like I do, and I do want to see them on more festival lineups. I do want to see Currents. I love Currents. I think Currents is another band like The Plot New, where I don't think that they get enough notoriety. They don't get enough people talking about them. So I do want to see Currents on more lineups as well. I do want to see Bless the Fall, even though I did not like their album, and I hate to say that out loud. I do want to see Bless the Fall because they have released new music. And even though I don't really like their album, I do want to see that because I think that they should go based on who's been releasing music. I want to see Caskets on more stuff. I know that a lot of people are talking about Dayseeker doing a tour with Caskets, which would be sick, man. I would buy those tickets so fast. I also really, really want to see Thousand Below. I think Thousand Below's album was really good. I liked their album that they put out. Buried in Jade to me was a solid 8.5. I would say an 8.5 because it did kind of blend a little bit too much with each other, but there was some solid bangers on there. There was a lot of songs that I did like, and then there was just something I didn't, which is why I'm deducting it down the way that I'm deducting it down. I do want to see Sleep Token. I feel like we are not really seeing Sleep Token. We're seeing just Bring Me and We Came as Romans, and I'm like, okay, well, are you guys gonna bring back Sleep Token? Because that's gonna sell you some tickets. That's all I gotta say. But I did hear from one of my friends who went to a festival that the Sleep Token fans, like the people who you could tell were there for Sleep Token, were the worst fans. And they apparently were very rude towards people and they were not very considerate of other people. So I think that I want to see them, but I think I want the fan base to be a little bit more respectful just because I kind of have heard things and I've seen things myself. And it's like, that's not our community. Like, we're not rude towards each other. We don't fight for barricade. We don't act without manners. Like, we're all here to be friends with each other, and like we should work. We should be friends. You know what I mean? Like when I go to festivals, I make so many friends. I love going to festivals. Like I'll be very honest with you, I love festivals. I meet so many people. I get to have moments with people, enjoying the same music. Festivals to me are a very good way to just bring so many different people together, and that is just why I love festivals a lot. I am very, very excited to see more festival announcements. I know that when We're Young is this weekend, I'm sad I'm missing it. I saw All Time Low do a free performance on Fairmont Street, and I'm like, I wanted to see that so bad. I literally missed festival season this year. I missed it. Completely missed it. Last year, I went to a festival. This year, I've been sitting at home. Why? For reasons that we cannot discuss, but yeah. So let me know in the comments down below what your guys' predictions for festival season are. And as always, this was Breakdowns and Bows with your host ASOS. I'm ASOS. This is always a safe space. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a very wonderful day. Bye.